Okay, this is back with Mr. Robbins. A couple things. You should have finished up drawing number one on Monday, and I want to go on to drawing number two. But first, a couple things that I've noticed about grading drawing number one. A couple mistakes. It's hard to put in a little email or a message to you or comment some of the things that I noticed. So I'll go over with the group those things. When you draw your front view, you extend your lines up. That's also going to help you do your top view up here. So this line right here has to line up with that line. This line right here has to line up with the outside of that because this object is the same distance, 3 3/4 right there, as it is the 3 3/4 up there. So those need to line up. Some of you didn't have them lined up exactly. Again, when you darken it in, don't darken it in with freehand. Use your ruler or a straight edge, whatever you need to do that with. So we're going to move on to drawing number two here. And this is this object right here. And I highlighted it today because we're going to do the front view and the top view. The front view is in blue. You would see this one, which is surface F1 and F2 right there. So this is F1, that's F2 right there. So we're going to start out. We want to come up an inch, measure up an inch on both sides, and draw that line all the way across. And just do this very lightly, remember. You don't want to make it dark. And then we want to start on the left-hand side over here. We want an inch margin to start with since we're not putting a border on our paper. So go over an inch, draw a line up and down there, and that's going to where those two lines intersect is going to give us our starting point. Again, I know this is much more difficult because we usually put it on a board. You use a T-square, it draws all of your horizontal lines. You put your triangle on top of your T-square, it draws all the vertical lines, and all you do is extend them all the way up. Whereas here, you've got to measure maybe in a couple places to get your lines relatively straight. Now, neatness does count, so you want to try to do it as neat as possible. Now, as we look at this drawing right here, we're at our starting point right there, and we can go over this way 3 3/4 inches. And I know some of you don't have a ruler to measure exactly 3 3/4. It's a little bit less than 4 inches. 1, 2, 3, and we did 3/4 there. Hopefully, you continue to practice the ruler game. Nobody sent me a score. Send me a score. Let me know what your high score is on the ruler game, so that so that I know you guys are learning how to read the ruler. So I measured over 3 3/4, drew a line straight up there. Then I look at this, and this says right here that this distance over here, from here up to there, is the same as this out here, which would be the distance from here to there, is going to be 1 3/4 inches. So 1 12/16. I'm going to turn this around for you. 12/16 is right there. And 12/16 right there. So that'll draw that line all the way across. Now, if this was just a rectangle, that would be all we're doing. Notice I'm drawing these lines very light. In fact, I don't know if it's picking them up on the camera there or not. Milo's on the camera, and if it's not, we'll blame Milo, the therapy dog. Okay, now this one right here, if that was it, that would all we have to do. But we have to put this thing in up here now, okay? And it says right here on the drawing that this thing comes down 1 inch, okay? So come down 1 inch from our top right here. So come down 1 inch. And as you're doing the drawing, if you need to pause it while you do something, I think you can do that. Just hit pause, and then you can go back to the next step. So you might, if you try to listen to it all at once, you might get confused as to what step you're on. So draw that line lightly all the way across there. And then we got to figure out how far this is from this distance to here, or how far from there to there. We need either that measurement or that measurement right there. Oops, I'm sorry, I didn't have it on. Let me try to go through that again. We need to know how far it is from right there to right there, or from right here to right there, so we can get that line right there. And right above it, it says from this side over here, it's 1 3/4 inches. So let's measure over 1 3/4. 1 12 spaces again is right there, 1 3/4. And we'll measure up here, 1 3/4. Trying to get both of these in here so you can see them. It's kind of hard. Okay, so we draw those. Right there. now we've got our front view all done here. All we got to do is go back and darken it in, and you do it. Don't just try to freehand it, but go back and try to draw the line right on top of your other line there. And this is the top of our front view. Then we got to get the outside edges. There. So that's the outside. That's the outside of this object right here. Now we need to get this little cutout there, darken it in. Bring this line straight down to that line right there. And across. Right there. And now you should be able to see, this is our front view right here. Now, none of the rest of it's darkened in. It's all very, very light. We can see our front view right there. And then we'll go up. We always leave 1 inch in between our front view to our top view. So we got to measure up 1 inch. And we'll put it over here. Right there. Draw this line across, all the way across, because we'll need it in our right end view. It'll be part of our 45-degree projection line that we project down to do our right end view. So now we've got the starting point right here for our top view right there. Okay, that's going to be our top view starting point. And it goes over to this line. This is going to be our top view, T1 and T2. T1, T2 right there, okay? So I'll even label this. This is F1, and we'll label this F2. That would be those two things right there. This will be T1 and T2. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and draw that. It says right here that it's 5/8 there. It says the whole thing here. We need to know how wide this is right here, from here back to there, because we're right here at our starting point. And it says over here on our right end view that this distance is 1 1/4. So if this distance is 1 1/4, this distance right there has to be 1 1/4, which is 1 4/16. 1 1/4. 1 1/4. Draw that across. Okay, now we got the outside of this. We've got the outside of this object right here done. Now we got to get this little cutout here. We've already got where this line comes up. That one's already done, and we got the outside. All we need to do is go 5/8 right there and draw that across. 5/8 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 16ths. Okay, so it's right there. And that's our top view right there. This is T1 over here. And if you want, you can erase this a little bit. I might have made it just a little bit too dark. And that one right there. Okay, and that's our top view of that object right there. So we draw this straight across. Again, try to make it as neatly as possible. Neatness counts. So if you have to erase a lot, that's why we make everything light to start with until we've got it all correct, and then we go back and darken it in. And we darken in this here. And all we're going to do today is the front view and the top view, and then we'll do the right end view tomorrow and put our measurements on it, and then you can submit it. You don't really have to send it to me today unless you just want to make sure you're doing everything right. That's fine. I'll take a look at it. But we've got our front view here and our top view there. And as you can see, our top view here is this surface there, T1 and T2. This is T1 here. This is T2. This is F1. This is F2. Okay, so that's our front view and our top view. And that, when I look at your drawing, guys, that's what should stand out here, are these things here. It shouldn't be dark lines all the way across your paper. It should just be the front view and the top view. And I'll show you how to do your 45-degree projection line to do your right end view tomorrow. So all I want you to do, like I said, you don't have to upload it and send it to me today. I'll get it all tomorrow and give you a grade of 20 points tomorrow or when you finish it up, okay? Any questions? My Zoom meeting is from 10:30 to 11:30. If you have any questions, that's when I can actually talk to you, and I can I can pull up what you've done and try to help you individually that way. If you have any other comments or anything, just email me. If you're having trouble uploading anything or anything, I'll find somebody. I'm not very good at the computer part of it, but I'll make sure that I get your questions answered and get back with you. Till tomorrow, Milo and I are signing off. Thank you.